Okay, so here we go. I'll try not to read these. So my name is Nick Charney, and I am a public servant. I do work for Indian Northern Affairs Canada. I also blog here at cpsrenewal.ca. And today I'm going to share a little bit about my story and hopefully get you a little bit jazzed up for WiredCamp. I started in government about 4 years ago. And prior to that, I worked for the Ottawa Senators Hockey Club. And it was during the Cup run. It was probably the most exciting thing I ever did. And I left that for the government. And the shift was overwhelming, and I was really sinking. And after about a year, I hit the proverbial fork in the road. I was going absolutely insane. I was underappreciated, underutilized, and basically unknown. And I was stuck in a system that played by rules that I didn't understand. And I almost left, but I didn't. So instead what I did was I sought out and connected with other people who were similarly disillusioned. And together we basically concluded that the public service has to be a better place than just a place where ideas go to die. And so my first year in public service was actually so atrocious that it really lit a fire under me. So I did two things. One, I got involved in my organization any way I could. And two, I started a blog. And the blog was basically me sharing lessons I had learned while I was pursuing the first thing, which was getting involved in my organization. A lot of people basically tried to dissuade me, made a face similar to that one. They called me stupid. They said I was taking unnecessary risk. They said I was jeopardizing my career. And maybe some of you probably think that right now. But I did it anyways. I took a risk and I jumped in with 2 feet. Where are my 2 feet? I'm ahead of time, that's good. And that was a year ago. And looking back, I'm proud to say that the very first article I ever wrote was actually about why the government of Canada needed a public service-wide wiki. Now we have one, it's called GCP, and I actually sit on the steering committee for that particular project, so that's pretty exciting. I can look back with some excitement on some of that. Since then, I've been publishing something relevant to public servants every Friday, and I do it in a public, it's from a public servant about the public service for public servants. So I found that personal voice that people seem to identify with, and that's really important. One of the things that I never really expected it to do was lead to a tremendous amount of opportunity for me within the public service. I went from a relative unknown to someone with a rep for being able to tear down walls. And that's why I get opportunities like this to come and speak to you, to try and encourage you to tear down walls too. Not to mention that my substantive role is now that of an organizational management ninja, where my weapon of choice is social media. So I apply social media on a daily basis to government processes to try and affect better outcomes for Canadians. And pardon my language, but that's pretty fucking exciting. And that's how excited I am. I'm willing to swear in front of all of you on record to say that's how excited I am about work. And so that's some really awesome stuff. I feel like this every day. I'm proud to come into work. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I leave feeling fulfilled and satisfied. And I know what I'm doing makes an actual difference. But what I'm doing is just a drop in the bucket. I'm one guy doing a couple things that I know how to do, right? Look around the room, how many people are here. So today is about everyone getting involved to do something like that, to create some momentum, to get more drops in the bucket, to get more people doing things. In addition to it just being a drop in the bucket, the way that I've done it is simply one way that we can get together and organize people. This is another way. There's a whole bunch of people that I've been able to rally around this particular community, this blog, but there's a lot of other ways to do it. So I want to encourage you to do that today. And that's why I'm pretty excited, because today we're going to talk about how to make the government more open and more responsive. And so what it's going to do is we're going to change the game today, and you're going to do it. It's the do-it-yourself game changer. That's what this event is all about. But in order to change the game, we're going to have to get our hands a little bit dirty. And we're going to have to encourage people who aren't here to get their hands dirty too. When you go back to your organization, they got to get their hands dirty as well. And so what we need to do is stop focusing on how to stop things from happening and start to focus on how to make things happen. And then we also need to get creative. And so what we need to do is not only be creative in this room, but take the creativity back to the same people you just told to get their hands dirty and get them to be creative. And so what we need to do is move away from the black and white of the bureaucracy and move into color and start thinking out loud and sharing together and doing things in the full spectrum of color. And then what we need to do is lay the groundwork so that those people can get their hands dirty, so that those people can get creative, so those people can get innovative. And today we're going to build that community here, and we're going to knock this sucker right out of the park when we go back to work. But remember, while we do it, we need to give credit where credit is due. So what we need to do is actually promote this kind of gift economy where power, influence, respect is all afforded to people who actually share resources and information, not given to people who hoard all of those things. So I'm going to leave you with two thoughts today. One of them's already been said. This, yes, you can. People might tell you when you come out of this event that whatever you're trying to accomplish can't be done. Don't listen to them. Listen to the people around you in the room today. Listen to me. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That's okay. Last thought. Impossible is nothing. I started writing a year ago. It's done a lot for me then, but that's just me. You guys can do a lot more than I could ever do, so let's do it. 3 months ago, I told someone that I was not a runner, I would never run. Sunday, I ran a half marathon. Impossible is nothing.